All right, all right. We'll let some people file in here, man. Fuck. How you feeling right now? I'm relieved. I'm relieved. Definitely I'm at ease. It came down to the end again, like it has so many times this season. The good thing we can say is this time there was a dub, which is
Yep.
obviously how you want things to end. But fuck, man, these games are gonna be stressful all season long.
Yeah, bro. I think I'm like losing more and more hair as the weeks go on, to be honest, because bro, these guys are hella stressful, like super stressful for like no reason. So it's really really hard right now. But hey, a win is a win. It cures everything for the week. They get a mini bye week, and you know, hopefully they can carry that momentum into the next week. So
Bro, not even like losing hair, bro. We're literally losing like years off of our life, like
yeah,
days off of our life with this with these Niner games. Roshan said me too. Bro, all of us right now, it's bad. Like,
yeah.
yeah, but let's like I said, let's get into this, bro. I mean, a big win for the 49ers, a much needed win. We talked about whether this was a must-win game or not, and
Yep.
thankfully they got the dub. For a moment there in the second half, I mean, they were scoreless for most of the second half until they got two fourth quarter touchdowns. Obviously, the Seahawks made it interesting with the kick return touchdown they had right after the Niners scored. Just when you thought they were going to pull away for a little bit, quick turnaround, and it forced the Niners to stay locked in like a little bit longer.
Yep.
And then Seahawks give up or the Niners give up that late touchdown to the Seahawks on a 4th and goal. Got a few really good stops, and then they're able to find was it Lockett on that one for the score.
Yeah, lock it on the score in the back of the end zone.
Niners first play, Isaac Guerrero nearly houses it, goes up like 78 yards or something, and then they're able to punch it in with Juszczyk. So a stressful game, but you were saying to me over text something we haven't been able to do, which is score two fourth quarter touchdowns this season. So what did you think about the way the Niners responded to close that game out?
Something that we wanted all season, right? Closing out these divisional games that they haven't been able to close out these first 5 weeks. So, when we were going into that fourth quarter, we were thinking, oh man, here we go again. One possession game, anything can happen at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously the first half went the way the Niners wanted it to go, which is perfect execution. Obviously the red zone issues were still a factor. They only got just the one red zone touchdown in the first half. So it was nice to see, obviously, 2 red zone touchdowns in the second half, especially the dime from Purdy to Kittle in that third quarter. I mean, that was huge. When it kind of seemed like, like the balance was shifting a little bit there. You score like halfway into the fourth quarter with that dimer, so it definitely took a lot of stress off, but still a lot of things to clean up, no doubt, especially on the defensive end. So, but really nice to get a divisional win against a divisional opponent, right? So, yeah, just looking forward to the next week at this point.
Yeah, let's talk about some of like we'll talk about the positives and the negatives of this game. Something that really stood out to me, it's kind of a mixture of both positive and negative, is how much the Niners are missing Christian McCaffrey. And Jordan Mason, look, he's been really good this season, and Isaac Guerrero stepping in today when Jordan Mason got hurt, didn't play right most of the second half.
Yep.
You're talking about your RB2s and RB3s stepping in and doing so really well, but you definitely noticed the lack of CMC on the field. And I was touching on this play earlier in the game when I was texting you, but first half, it's the Niners' second possession. Purdy throws a little dump off pass to Mason. He gets 9 yards on the pickup, right? Solid gain. But if Mason just runs straight up the middle, he probably gets like 10, 11 yards. It's an easy first down. He tried to bounce around to the right corner, ends up getting tackled, and they stop 1 yard short on the next play. They run it up the middle. They lose a couple yards.
Yep.
Third down, they don't pick it up. They end up having to force the punt. And it was literally that play, that possession right there where I was like, man, this is where they're missing CMC, because if CMC gets that ball, he's probably picking up like 12, 13 yards easy.
100%.
You're just talking about like a stronger guy, a more shifty guy. more elusive, right? He can break tackles better than probably anyone in the league at his position. So it was that moment I was like, man, these guys are missing CMC right now. But it's not just there, right? It's in the red zone too, where you said they've come up short so many times.
Yeah, for sure. And CMC was our most important red zone target last season, right? I mean, he scored the most touchdowns on the team for a reason. You can hand it off to him and he could take it a mile, right? So, yeah, I think we were both thinking the same thing at the same time when Mason didn't dive forward for that first down and he tried to just cut it back to get more yards. CMC, being the player that he is with the IQ that he has, he would have dove forward and got that first down. That drive would have continued, and who knows what would have happened. Maybe they would have scored a touchdown on there. So, they had a lot of momentum going at that point, obviously in the game, and it kind of got killed after they, basically had to punt it away, right? So, definitely, I hope that they don't rush back Christian McCaffrey because of this, but it was encouraging to see obviously Brock Purdy make all the right plays today. But we're gonna see what happens moving forward with Mason. Obviously, he went down late in the game, or actually late in the first half with that shoulder. So I'm hoping that he'll be okay. But Grendo looked really nice in that fourth quarter, especially on that long run. So we're gonna see what happens.
Yeah, it was a good sign that Mason did come back in for a couple plays. I think at that point they were just being a little cautious with him and just decided to give Garendo most of the touches there. But we'll see how serious the injury is, and if it is serious, maybe they go out and sign like another running back just to add to the mix. But we should talk about that missed call on the punt where Kyle Shanahan threw the challenge flag, and he was right. The ball clearly went off the receiver's fingers, and everyone saw it there. And it's a call that the refs messed up. It could have changed the outcome of the game, if we're being honest. Thankfully, the Niners were able to withstand it, right, and it didn't end up affecting the outcome of the game. But how do you get that wrong, especially when you have replay review? It's pretty obvious that it went off his hand. You see it in slow motion. I mean, that's a call like you have replay assistant for a reason. You have the team up in New York and the referees, right, that look at these types of plays and let you know whether something is incorrect or correct, and they still fuck it up. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, no, for sure. And when Kyle Shanahan threw the challenge flag, I was thinking, I'm like, what is he going to challenge? Is he going to challenge the spot? Is he going to challenge that that they recovered the ball before he touched it? Like, what was the case? But when I looked at the replay, I was like, oh my god, they're going to get the ball back for sure. And when they talked about it in the fourth quarter about that missed call, they said that that New York didn't have the right angles to make a proper call. It's like, dude, you guys fucking control everything about this game and you guys don't have the right angles. So it's really frustrating, obviously, when it is put into the referee's hands to make that decision and the people that are supposed to be helping them aren't even doing their job properly. So that was a huge call that could have changed the outcome of the game. Seattle definitely got away with one there for sure. So we're super fortunate that it didn't end up costing them, and the defense held their own for the most part, even in key situations. They bent, but they didn't break, and they had been breaking the last couple of losses for sure. So, huge shout out to the defensive scheme that they had tonight. They definitely had Geno flustered for sure. I mean, they forced him into 2 turnovers, and I'm really excited to see how they can build off of this moving forward. But definitely was shook about that missed call.
Yeah, how about our rookie secondary getting a couple of interceptions today? I mean, big plays, and one was Renardo Green, and the other one was Malik Mustafa, right? The first one, and 2 guys just stepping into it because Talanoa Hufanga was out of this game and is going to be out for a couple of weeks, right? So it's Mustafa that they were going to be leaning on, and then Javarius Ward, out in this game too with a knee injury. In comes Renardo Green. Both guys end up getting an interception in this game, which were big plays for that defense too. They also forced a fumble, I believe, on one possession. So 3 takeaways in this game for the defense. Fred nearly had a pick at the end. Would have been 4.
Oh man! And the punch out.
And the punch out too that they couldn't hop on. But that's his 4th forced fumble of the season for Fred Warner. And Brock Purdy, fantastic game today. I mean, he went 18 of 28 in this one, 255 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, no turnovers by this team today. And that was something Kyle Shanahan talked about after the last game was we have to take care of the ball because that was the difference in the last game, right? The 2 interceptions, the late Jordan Mason fumble today. They do a great job of taking care of the ball. Purdy was fantastic, like I said, but George Kittle, He's been great all season long. And to answer your question, Sean, is George Kittle tight end one for the rest of the season? Shit, the way he's playing right now, yeah, he is definitely is. 5 touchdowns now on the season. He had 2 in this one, 4 straight games with a touchdown now for George Kittle. He's been great, and it's very evident that Brock Purdy and George Kittle not only have a really good chemistry, but Kittle has become Purdy's go-to guy in the goal line area. He's gotten a lot of his touchdowns when they're inside the 10-yard line, right? He's looking for him, and it makes sense. Kittle's their biggest target, right? You're talking about a guy who's about 6'3", 6'4", maybe like 215, 20 pounds, whatever he is, right? He can go up and get a ball, as you've seen. So it's been good to see that they're getting that going, because when a play's breaking down or you don't know what to call, just keep it simple and get Kittle the ball, right? When you're in that red zone area, trust your top playmakers, your guys with the best hands. That's why I didn't like one of the play calls too. It was on their first drive, 2nd and goal. They throw a little short pass to Mason on the left side. I'm like again,
man.
no disrespect to Mason. He's been doing great, but he's not CMC in that moment. And when you're about 4 or 5 yards away, chances are Mason's probably not going to get in from there, right? You were talking about they're at the 7-8 yard line. Maybe you hand it off and let him pick up a few yards, but when you're getting closer, again, put the ball in the hands of your top players. So still things they can clean up in the red zone, but there was some improvement today. Wouldn't you agree?
100%. They definitely came out with a sense of purpose, I think, today to soar, especially after that close to the half that the Seahawks had, where they had almost scored a touchdown if it wasn't for DK Metcalf's big ass foot, stepping out. And that's why, one of my friends in another chat, my friend said, he told me that he would only wear white cleats when playing football, because if you toe tap on the sidelines, refs can't make that call clear and concisely, right? Because the cleats are gonna match and mesh.
Yeah, clearly DK Metcalf didn't watch the opening season game with Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, the guy thinks he's a fucking Grinch or something wearing those green ass slippers, right? So, but we definitely got fortunate for sure that we only gave up 3 points, right? So it was definitely a step in the right direction for us offensively. In that second half, when they came out and they punched him in the mouth with that touchdown, we thought okay, here we go, right? Now they're starting to gain that momentum, that confidence, right? Purdy looked really good on the drive. The running game looked awesome on the drive, right? And then when he hit him for that touchdown, it was really special. So definitely an improvement for sure. Last week they went, I think it was 1 for 6 in the red zone. So this week they went, I think, 3 for 6 in the red zone. So it's positive progress. We need to see it happen more, obviously, with the 2 big games coming up to close the first half of the season for them. So I'm definitely excited about where the team is headed in that sense, but they still have a lot to clean up. One other thing they need to do is not have their kicker make fucking tackles, in key situations. That's why you have the rest of the fucking special teams to make those tackles, right? So I feel bad for Wright there, having to make that tackle, right? He got put into a bad spot. I hope he's okay, because he looks like he's really solid. He looks like he doesn't get shook. So
we don't win that game without him today. I mean, he comes in, knocks in a few field goals, extra points. You're talking about a guy that was just picked up a week ago. For him to come in and just knock him all down like this, huge. And he probably shouldn't have gone for that tackle, but you can't knock a guy for hustling like that. So hopefully he's okay. Hopefully we don't have to pick up another kicker, but definitely a big win, man, for the Niners, because, if they lose this game, now you're talking about a 2-4 team, 0-3 in the division, with Kansas City and Dallas coming up, right? And your confidence, having lost 3 straight games, had that been the case, going into a game with the Chiefs, a team that owns you, we know the history of the Chiefs, right? Obviously, so it would have been really tough. So it was good for the Niners to come out and respond, the way they did. And to Sean's question here, what is the season outlook after this game, right? You get the win here, you're top of the NFC West. Now you got 10 days off to prep for the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are on a bye this week, but it's good that the Niners got this win because they get the extra days too. So it's kind of going to be an even matchup coming in, and the Niners are banged up, as we know. A couple more injuries in this game. Aaron Banks went down. Mustafa went down, right? And so it gives guys a chance to hopefully get right for a couple weeks from now, because if they can beat this Chiefs team in a couple weeks on Sunday, that's gonna be a huge confident booster for this team. And yeah, Mumpreet's point, Andy Reid has a really good record coming off of bye weeks, and so for the Niners, they basically, you can kind of say they have a bye week, right, with this day off now, and so it's going to be a tough game. Good thing for the Niners, it's a home game. They're not going to Arrowhead, thankfully, so they're going to be in front of their home crowd. Extra rest, obviously, like we said, but that's going to be a really big game. And if they can take at least a split with Kansas City and Cowboys going into the bye week, I think that would be ideal. Probably seems like the most logical. Yeah, I don't know if we're beating the Chiefs. They got the refs on their side. Trust me, I feel you on that one, Sean. I think all Niners fans, we feel the exact same way. It's gonna be us against the Zebras in that game for sure. So, I'm not expecting anything because we know how that goes, but definitely good for the Niners to get this win tonight. Their 6th straight win over Seattle now, a team we've owned. I don't think my friend Brady is watching. He's a Seahawks fan. He owes me lunch now. We bet on this game, so I can't wait to cash him in on that.
Where's Harsh at? That's what I
want. Harsh ain't joining in on this because he knows we're going to talk some shit. And we didn't even talk about Debo, man. Debo had such a big game, 76-yard touchdown. His numbers against the Seahawks in their last 5, 6, 7 matchups are insane. He destroys the Seahawks every single time these two teams meet. What did you like out of Debo today?
Yeah, man, Debo, his 8th touchdown in 8 games against the Seahawks, which is insane. He basically owns them, right? He is just a versatile weapon that they just can't seem to stop every time he plays against them when he's healthy, right? I thought he was definitely great on that little swing pass from Purdy. I don't know what the safety was doing on that play. He had an easy pick when Purdy threw it up, but I think from our angle it looked like a pick, but I think Purdy knew that Debo was kind of flaring out, so he knew it was put in a spot only Debo could go and get.
He floated it a bit too,
but he turned on the jets, bro. I thought he was gonna get tackled at the 20 or the 30-yard line when he took off, but man, he turned it on. That was the fastest he had ever ran, I think, since 2019 for a touchdown, which was insane. And that was his longest touchdown of the season since 2019. It was tied for the longest touchdown he's ever had in his career. So, huge shout out to Debo tonight. I mean, he balled out as much as he possibly could. Obviously, like we say, if McCaffrey is down, Debo's the next guy that we use as that weapon that does everything for us, right? He's the one that carries the ball. He's the one that, he's returning kicks. The versatility that we have on this team when it's complete is insane. And that's why we make all these deep playoff runs. So definitely happy that Debo had this night, especially the last couple of games. He had been a little bit quiet for sure. Even the Patriots game, he was quiet, but last game, kind of felt like he was a non-factor. And a lot of people on social media were calling him out after, obviously. Ayuk, obviously he had a pretty solid game, not as boisterous as last week. He wasn't targeted as much, obviously, but the game plan didn't call for it. The Niners had over 240 yards rushing tonight, which is the recipe for success for this team. The line did what it was supposed to do, and the second level blockers did what they were supposed to do. So it's a good way to go into this mini bye and to prep for Kansas City, because we know that's going to be a tough matchup. It's most likely going to be low scoring. I don't see any fireworks in that game, so it's going to come down to defenses, and we'll see. There's a good comment right now from Sean in the chat. I don't know if you want to put that up, but do you think Shanahan is too complacent? I feel like he always tries to play it safe and almost costed us. I think, Sandeep, you can hone in.
I'll take this one for sure. Because in my group chat with Sean and a few of our other friends, Sean was like, man, Shanahan's a pussy, and I'm like, yeah, I agree, bro. We talk about that play specifically. It's 4th and 3. You're at the 50-yard line. On the play before that, they had just picked up, I think, about 12 or 13 yards on that play to Debo that you were just talking about. And you go all the way to the 50-yard line, and you just need 3 yards. That's 4th down territory. That's when you go for it. We're not talking about 30-yard line on your own side, 40-yard line. You're at midfield, and it's a short yardage situation. Put the ball in Purdy's hands. Quick little out route to Kittle or to Ayuk or Juwan Jennings. You got weapons, right? Take a risk here. And then instead, they end up punting it. The Seahawks get the ball. They come down, drive it, and end up scoring a touchdown, right? Again, it's opportunities like that when you have a chance to be aggressive you have to take them, and you take advantage of those situations. And even if you come away with a field goal in that, hey, at least you put some points up on the board, and now it extends your lead. And to Sean's point, yeah, it did almost cost them, right? Because the Seahawks ended up scoring a touchdown on that. And thankfully the Niners finally responded today. But Shanahan at some point is going to have to he's going to have to grow a pair and start being a little bit smarter, a little bit more creative with his play calls, because it's already cost us a couple of times, right? With the Rams game, the Cardinals game. Thankfully it didn't today, but it's definitely something the Niners are going to have to clean up. And I'm sure the team's going to be looking at a lot of film over the next, week or so as they prep for KC. And it's a game they're going to have to be really, really ready for. Again, I think this game is really big for the mental side more than anything, right? You beat the Chiefs middle of the season, and then it kind of sets the precedent, right? The confidence boost, the morale you need going to the rest of the season. And then should the Niners get to the point where hopefully they get to the Super Bowl again, and let's just say it's for the third time, it's the Niners Chiefs. If you have that mental edge of knowing, hey, we beat this team, so we know we can beat them, it's really big for you. So I think this is the game the Niners fans are all really looking forward to now, right? Yep. Is Kansas City, obviously, but thankfully today they got the win, 36-24. We now take the lead in the NFC West. 10 days to go. Kansas City is next on the schedule. Really big win for the 49ers. It was a must-win game, and thankfully they closed it out. 36 points on the board. Hopefully guys get right, like Jordan Mason, Malik Mustafa. Yeah, Roshan, aim for Mahomes' leg. That's what my dad says every single week. My dad literally says that every single time. He's like, someone break Mahomes' legs.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's going to be definitely key. And we'll do a little preview next week of the 49ers and Kansas City Chiefs game. So be on the lookout for that for sure, guys. But thank you guys to everyone for tuning in today.
Thanks, guys.
Again, great win for the 49ers, a much needed win. Back in the W column, top of the NFC West. Let's see if the Niners can get some rest, get right, and come out and hopefully beat the Chiefs and the refs in week 8. Or week 7, sorry. Great win for the 49ers. And thank you guys all for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next time.
See y'all.